Classification of fiscal rules. Fiscal rules can be classified into the four main types: expenditure rules, revenue rules, balance rules, and bet rules. These rules often used in the combination aim to control government spending, ensure the revenue stability, maintain a balanced budget, and manage wealth levels while they offer clear guidance and promote fiscal discipline. This also face implementation challenges like economic uncertainty and the need of flexibility and expanding to expand unific stocks. Types of fiscal rules. Expenditure rules place caps on government spending either as a fixed amount and as growth rates as a share of GDP. The goals in the control expenditure growth and prevent overspending. Design pictures sets quantitative limits on the government spending, often as a share of the GDP or as a cap on an annual expenditure growth. Implementation challenges. Risk of procyclicality and spending limits are to rise during downturns. Types of fiscal rules. Revenue rules. Expose floors and ceilings on the government revenues, such a minimum or maximum tax to GDP ratios to ensure stable revenue collection over prevent excessive taxation. Design pictures expand floors and a ceiling on revenues or collections such as minimum or maximum tax to GDP ratios. Implementation challenges may discourage needed tax reform and flexibility in response to economic change.
Good day everyone. So my name is Romeo Pusing and I am the one who continue the topic of first reporter, which is the types of fiscal rules. So my topic is the budget balance rules and the debt rules. So budget balance rules or BBR require that government revenue and expenditure are balanced often over the fiscal year of the economic cycle. This means the government cannot spend more than it earns, aiming to avoid persistent deficits. So their design features require that government to maintain a certain fiscal balance, deficit or surplus, often as a share of GDP. BBRs are most effective when embedded in legal frameworks, national constitution of fiscal responsibility laws rather than relying on political commitment. Over 60% of BBRs in advanced economies have statutory backing compared to 44% in emerging markets. Their implementation challenges: accurate measurement of the structural or cyclically adjusted balance in technically complex and open to manipulation. The calculating structural balance requires first is estimating potential GDP, second is determining revenue or expenditure elasticities to economic cycles. Third one is the adjusting for one of fiscal operations. These technical processes create margin of error up to 1.5% of GDP in advanced economies, enabling manipulation through optimistic growth forecast or elasticity assumptions. So this is the last fiscal rules, which is the debt rules. Debt rules set a limit on the total amount of government debt, commonly as a percentage of GDP. These rules aim to public debt at the sustainable level. So their design features set a ceiling of the public debt to GDP ratio, and additional is the coverage adjustment mechanisms and automatic corrections. And their implementation challenges. Enforcing in challenges if debt data are not timely or transparent. And additional is the accounting processes, economic shocks, political will, coordination across levels of government. So the four fiscal rules are essential tools for government to ensure responsible fiscal management, support economic stability, maintain market confidence, and promote transparency and accountability in public finances. And that's all my topic.
Hi everyone, I am Rina Ailadesa, PSBA Financial Management, second year. So today we'll be discuss about the fiscal policy and microeconomic stability. Fiscal policy involving government spending and taxation is crucial for microeconomic stability, including economic growth. However, fiscal policy has limitations, including the debt and the deficit, timing, and effectiveness interaction with monetary policy and government credibility. Managing this risk, it's essential for long-term economic stability and demurrate it during high inflation. Expansionary fiscal policy stimulate demand by increasing spending and cutting taxes, while contractionary policy reduce spending or raises tax to cool the economy. These policies contribute to economic growth, price and stability, full employment, and sustainable external accounts. They can be implemented through automatic stabilizer or discretionary fiscal policy changes.
What is a fiscal rule? A fiscal rule is a permanent constraint on a fiscal policy through limits on the budgetary aggregates like government spending, deficit, or a public debt. Fiscal rules are long-term constraints set by governments to guide budgetary policy and ensure fiscal responsibility. These rules are designed to promote economic stability, prevent excessive deficit and debt, and enhance public trust in the government financial management. Fiscal rule in developing country. So fiscal rule in developing countries serves the same purpose as in developed nations, to maintain fiscal discipline, manage public debt, and promote sustainable economic growth. However, their implementation and effectiveness are often challenged by weaker institutions, economic volatility, and limited administrative capacity. Fiscal rules are important for promoting discipline and stability in developing countries. Their success depends on strong institutions, political will, and tailoring rules to the local conditions. Instead of rigidly copying rules from developed nations, developing countries should focus on realistic, flexible frameworks that balances fiscal discipline and development goals. So, for example, in Kenya, growing economy, still improving roads, school, and healthcare, and faces challenges like poverty and unemployment. Fiscal rule development country. So in developed country, fiscal rules are effective part of economic policy due to strong institution, political discipline, and clear enforcement mechanism. This rule help keep debt levels sustainable, reduce fiscal risk, and support long-term economic growth. In developed countries, fiscal rules are key tools for maintaining microeconomic stability, ensuring responsible public finance, and preserving investor confidence. These countries generally have strong institutions, transparent governance, and established legal framework, which support the successful design and enforcement of such rule. So, for example, of a country is the United States. Um, uh, with high income, good roads, school, hospital, and strong government or governance and an economy.
Good day, everyone. My name is Nikki Mirapolo. Escape clauses and flexibility in fiscal rules examine the importance of allowing exceptions during economic crises like pandemics or natural disasters, and how such clauses designed to monitor. The COVID-19 pandemic and the global economic contraction will put role based on the fiscal frameworks to the test. The severity of the shock will likely result in a temporary large deterioration in a fiscal deficit and public debt. Many countries are already activating escape clauses to depreciate or suspend the fiscal rules. It will be important to ensure use of this flexibility, including explaining the size of deviation, the process of return to the rule, to preserve the credibility of the fiscal framework. Fiscal rules help maintain fiscal discipline by setting limits on a budget, deficit, and debt. However, flexibility is needed to handle unexpected economic shock. Escape clauses can allow temporary deviations, but should be transparent and well defined to preserve credibility. Countries facing large economic shocks need flexibility in their fiscal rules. Those with escape clauses can use them temporarily, while others might need to suspend or revise their rules. The challenge is to balance flexibility with maintaining fiscal discipline and credibility. The analysis shows that Ecotech Manufacturing's investment in solar panels is financially valuable, with a positive return and payback period with approximately 6.67 years. The project's internal rate of the return exceeds the required rate, making it the worthwhile investment. Countries can activate escape clauses in their fiscal rules to respond to economic shock. These clauses allow temporary deviations from usual targets, enabling governments to increase spending or implement counter-cyclical policies. So, to activate escape clauses, governments should 1. Explain the reasons and link to predefine the triggers. 2. Specify the suspension period. 3. Outline adjustment to return to the rules. So examples include Brazil declaring a public calamity to breach fiscal targets, Costa Rica enacting a national emergency decree, European Union activating a general escape clause, Germany suspending its debt brake rule. So parliamentary approval is essential for transparency and accountability. During crises like the COVID-19 pandemic, countries can use escape clauses to temporarily deviate from fiscal rules. These clauses allow for flexibility while maintaining credibility. Some countries have specific plans to return the fiscal targets within a certain time frame. Transparency, external scrutiny, and independent oversights are crucial to ensure responsible use of the escape clauses. So, independent oversight, agencies like fiscal councils and Supreme Audit institutions can provide credible assessment of government decisions to trigger escape clauses in a fiscal rule. Second is transparency and accountability. Regular reporting and clear communication are essential to maintain public trust and credibility. Third, effective communication strategies. Government should provide clear messages, publish credible medium-term fiscal strategies, and report on measures and programs. So here are some key elements of effective communication. So the following is publishing credible medium-term fiscal strategies, Second, regular reporting on measures and programs. Third, independent reports from agencies like fiscal councils or supreme audit institutions. So the following practice can help ensure transparency, accountability, and credibility in a fiscal management during times of crisis. The article discusses the challenges of adhering to fiscal rules during large economic shocks, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, and it suggests the following. 1. Suspending fiscal rules if they are too rigid or lack escape clauses, following the legal procedures and transparency. Second, revising escape clauses to allow more flexibility while maintaining transparency and credibility. Third, considering revisions to fiscal rules if the shock exposes weaknesses or makes assumptions unrealistic. However, revisions should be done cautiously, following transparent procedures, avoiding frequent changes that may signal weak government commitment to fiscal discipline. So here are the key aspects of the following. 1. Procedural aspects. Revision should follow established legislation's approval. Second, independent counsel. Seeking recommendations can enhance credibility. Independent fiscal counsel input. This recommends and enhance credibility. 3. Consistency with the policy goals. New rules should prioritize depth and sustainability and stability. Revision considerations. 1. Calibration, adjusting rule parameters for effectiveness. 2. Second clauses, defining conditions for temporary deviations. So, implementation. 1. Communication strategy. Clearly explain revisions to markets and to the public. Second, transparency, ensuring public understanding of reasons behind changes. So, here are the goals. 1. Depth sustainability. 2. Stability. 3. Forward-looking policy goals. So, revising fiscal rules requires careful consideration and typically involves parliamentary approval. An independent fiscal council may provide valuable input. Any changes should prioritize depth, sustainability, stability, and future policy goals. So the text outlines key considerations for revising fiscal rules, including the following. 1. Procedural aspects. Revision should follow established legislations and parliamentary approval. 2. Independent fiscal 2. Independent fiscal council input. Seeking recommendations can enhance credibility. 3. Aspects of revisions, calibration, escape clauses, and consistency with policy goals. 4. Communication strategy, transparency and explanation to markets and public. This framework aims to ensure fiscal rule revisions thoughtful, will, structured, and support long-term stability and sustainability. Okay, when revising fiscal rules, consider the following. Follow legal procedures and obtain parliamentary approval. Seek input from independent fiscal councils. Update rules to align with the future policy goals, such as depth and sustainability. 4. Communicate changes clearly to the public and market. So the following approach ensures the revisions are transparent, credible, and support long-term stability. As example is the COVID-19 pandemic has ended put fiscal frameworks to the test, and the use of escape clauses can provide necessary flexibility. To maintain credibility, it's crucial to ensure transparency and clear plan for returning to the rules. The analysis of Ecotech manufacturing solar panel investment shows it financially viable with a positive return and payback period of approximately 6.67 years. The project's internal rate of return exceeds the required rate, making it worthwhile investment. Regarding escape clauses, the key steps of government to activate include the following. Clearly explain the reasons and linking term to predefined triggers. Second, specifying the suspension period. Third, outlining adjustment to return to the clauses. Example of these countries activating escape clauses include Brazil, Costa Rica, the European Union, and the Germany. Parliamentary approval is essential for transparency and accountability in such situations.
Good day, everyone. I'm Michi Bahi. I'm the last reporter of Group 7. So my topic is about the fiscal transparency and accountability mechanism. So the question is, what is the Independent Fiscal Institution or IFIS? Audits and public reporting are crucial for ensuring fiscal rules are followed and effective. So, IFIS provide independent analysis and advice on fiscal policy, helping to enhance transparency and accountability. So sa audits particularly by independent bodies like Supreme Audit institutions, ensure financial accuracy and compliance with regulations. So sa public reporting alongside IFIS or independent financial institution analysis provides the public with information about government finances, fostering accountability and informed debate. Let's tackle about the role of independent fiscal institutions. So naa siya 3 rules of independent. First is monitoring and evaluation. Independent fiscal institution monitor and evaluate fiscal plans and outcomes, helping to identify potential problems and ensure policies are aligned with long-term sustainability goals. So it means, ang mga independent institution sa pinansya or IFIS, nagmonitor o nagsusi sa mga plano o resulta sa pinansya sa gobyerno. So kini siya makatabang sa pag-ila sa posible nga ang mga problema o ang pagsiguro nga ang mga polisiya nagasuporta sa tinguha nga kanang makapadayon or malungtaron sa kalambuan sa ekonomiya o sa kinabuhi. Second is analysis and advice. Independent fiscal institutions offer objective assessments of fiscal policies and their implication for public finance sustainability. They analyze the budgetary impact of proposed measures, assess long-run sustainability, and provide recommendations on fiscal policy. So it means independent fiscal institution or IFIS are neutral bodies that evaluate government fiscal policies to ensure they align with long-term financial stability. They study how policy affect budgets, check if public finances are sustainable over time, and suggest reforms to improve fiscal decisions. Third is transparency and accountability. By making their analysis public, independent fiscal institutions foster greater transparency and accountability, holding governments accountable for their fiscal decisions. So, that means independent fiscal institutions enhance transparency by publicly sharing their assessments of government fiscal policies. This ensures accountability as governments are compelled to justify their financial decision to the public. Open access to independent fiscal institution analysis allows citizens, media, and stakeholders to scrutinize policies, reducing the risk of irresponsible or biased fiscal. Let's proceed the second role of independent fiscal institution, which is audits. So, ang audits, na siya three parts. So, first is financial accuracy and compliance. Audits verify the accuracy of financial statements and ensure compliance with financial rules and regulations. So, that means financial accuracy. Audits check if financial records like income, expenses, and assets are error-free and truthfully reflect an organization's financial status. Compliance. Audits ensure all financial activities follow laws, standards, or internal policies like tax regulations and accounting principles. Second is internal control. Audits assess the effectiveness of internal controls over financial reporting, helping to prevent errors or fraud. So that means internal controls are procedures a company uses to ensure accurate financial reporting and legal compliance. Audits evaluate whether these controls work properly to prevent errors like miscalculations and data entry mistakes, and deter fraud like unauthorized transactions and asset theft. By identifying weaknesses in controls, audits help organizations strengthen safeguards and reduce financial risk. So third is independent review. Audits provide an independent review of financial performance, ensuring objectivity and impartiality. So that means independent review means audits are conducted by external, unbiased parties, not part of the organizations. So this ensures objectivity. So objectivity, evaluations are based on facts, not internal biases. While impartiality, no favoritisms toward the organization's interests. By offering a neutral assessment of financial performance, audits build trust in the accuracy and fairness of financial reports for stakeholders like investors, regulators, and public. So let's proceed the last part of the role of independent fiscal institutions, which is public reporting. So ang public reporting na Japon siya 3 parts. First is transparency. Public reporting provides information on government finances, including budgets, spending, and debt levels. So that means transparency through public reporting means governments openly share details about their budgets, like revenue or spending plans. Spending, like where money is allocated. And debt levels, how much they owe. This openness allows citizens, media, and oversight bodies to track financial decisions, ensuring accountability and trust in how public funds are managed. Second is accountability. By making financial information accessible to the public, public reporting promotes accountability and allows citizens to scrutinize government spending. So that means accountability through public reporting means government must justify their spending decisions to citizens by openly sharing financial data like budgets and expenses. Citizens and watchdog groups can analyze how public funds are used, ensuring governments act responsibly and address misuse or inefficiency. This scrutiny deters corruptions and builds trust in governance. Third and last part is informed public debate or debate. Public reporting provides the public with the information needed to engage in informed debate about fiscal policy choices. So that means informed public debate means citizens can discuss fiscal policies like taxes, spending, and debt based on facts and data from public reports. By sharing details like budget allocations or revenue sources, public reporting gives people the tools to understand trades-off like funding healthcare versus infrastructure, Evaluate the impact of policies, which is who benefits long-term costs. And third, demand evidence-based decision from leaders. Transparency prevents debates from being driven by assumptions of misinformation, fostering more undemocratic and inclusive policy making. And that would be all. Thank you.